we will have the Spit the Dummy segment where one of our reviewers, Narelle, wants to take Troy to task about some of his views on climate change. We'll be back in a moment. Spit the Dummy, the opportunity where we let you, the viewer, have your say if there's something that's been said on the panel that you don't particularly like. And we've got Narelle joining us out of Brisbane. She was unimpressed, to say the least, with some of our email correspondence about something that Troy Bramston had to say about climate change. Narelle, over to you. What's your gripe?
Oh, hi Peter, hi Troy. Yeah, look, I was pretty upset, Troy, when you said that there's a consensus in the science is settled, and that we should have a carbon tax. Actually, yeah, it should be CO2 tax, but you said a carbon tax. That's part of the whole propaganda, just as the science is settled as part of the propaganda.
Well,
there is no consensus.
Of course the science is settled. I mean, this is one of the big myths, is that if you ask the international science community and you go across the board, there is overwhelming consensus. It's about as big a consensus as you can get on any scientific issue. We're talking about 95% of the world's science.
Troy, don't dominate.
Yeah, Troy, yeah. Troy, where did you get that from, though? Because, I mean, have you done personal research? Have you seen the research that's done in the area? Because quite honestly, you have? I doubt it. That 90%, the 90%, sorry mate, but really, the 90% consensus that we're told about actually comes from a survey that was done at the University of Illinois in 2009. They cherry-picked 77 Earth scientists out of the original group of 10,000. 75 out of the 77 agreed that humans make some contribution to global warming. That was all it was. No mention of CO2.
I don't know about that.
Physicists. There were no physicists, no solar scientists, no one like that even included in the survey. And that's really one of the main things you go by. Like,
well, this is the problem with the climate change denialists, is they want to latch on to a tiny piece of evidence and say this represents the issue, the whole issue, the whole debate. I mean, you've got to look at the international.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Who's latching on to a small bit of evidence?
Well, the International Panel of Climate Scientists, which assess all the evidence and all the research, there's been many peer-reviewed studies that have looked at all the research and found that there is actually a strong consensus.
Start naming them, Troy, because Narelle's all over the details on the outside.
The IPCC.
Peer-reviewed studies, excuse me.
The IPCC, have a look at the IPCC, have a look at the Stern Review, have a look at the plethora of Ghana.
Come on.
Ghana Review is an economics review, it's not a science review.
Look at Al Gore's
Exactly.
Well, Troy, the inconvenient truth here is that Narelle's winning this one.
But truly, there's absolutely no proof. You know, the IPCC are all people from the same side of the fence, and many of the reviewers that were in the IPCC don't agree with the conclusions of it anyway. In their 2007 report, 5,587 of the cited references that they use, this is how professional they are, didn't even come from peer-reviewed journals.
Well, look, the only people who are out there, you know, saying the climate change debate is not real, whether they're economists or scientists or environmentalists or anybody who has any expertise in any area of climate science or climate change issues, are in the vast minority. I mean, or they're backed by some kind of right-wing organisation, or the US Republicans, or these kind of groups.
Let me jump in, because I think you've won this one against Troy, I'm sad to say. But firstly, we'll pass on your details to Andrew Bolt. I'm sure I want to get you on as a guest. But
that's exactly my point.
Quite apart from that, can I ask you a question? What do you think of Lord Monckton?
What I think he's an extremely intelligent man. I had communication with him myself a couple of years ago about an issue I had with...
Of course you did, Narelle. Look, Peter, I rest my case on the fact that she thinks that Lord Monckton...
Give me a go. Hey,
I rest my case.
All right, last say, Narelle, the floor is yours.
I want to say that there are now 900 peer-reviewed papers against the IPCC position, and that many of the papers... 900, yes, against it. Listen, no, hang on, I haven't finished. But many of the papers that supposedly support it do not actually deal with the reasons for climate change. They deal with the results of it. Yeah. Very, very few actually deal with the reasons for it, and that's where the bones of contention are.
Can I ask a last question, Narelle? Are you disappointed that the Liberal Party and Tony Abbott believe in climate change?
Look, I have to say that I am actually, yes, because it means that it's very difficult for the sceptics to actually get any kind of hearing at all. And really, Troy, I really think you ought to look at things like the quality of the scientists that disagree with it, the 31,000 that signed the Oregon petition, the 700 distinguished scientists who wrote to the US Congress against
the reality
it.
is
Let her
if
finish.
you ask
She's
you, yeah,
pulling
okay, well, that was
facts
just a
out.
list.
I'm
We
finished
can all,
yet.
we can all read
Troy.
lists, but look, the reality is in Australia, the mainstream political parties, the Liberal and National parties and the Labor Party
does-
believe climate change is real, and they're
Oh,
both
come on,
they're
they
both
have to.
well, they have.
Come on.
They've both signed
Troy,
up to
Troy.
targets. Well,
No, but listen,
All right,
listen,
we're
they've
going to hold
made
there,
it-
Narelle. I'm going to give you one last say, and then we'll let you go. We appreciate your time. I think you've won this debate. I'll say, even if I may or may not agree
Okay.
with you on the issue.
I just wanted to say that all the many of the science societies are supposed to be in favour of it, but what you're really looking at is the people who run those societies. If you actually did a poll of the members, you'd find that they don't agree. For example, 53% of the Geological Society in Australia does not agree. The American Physics Society, 260 distinguished physicists don't agree. There's problems in the American Meteorological Society. They don't agree either.
All right,
the
I'm
Royal
going to
Society
have to
has
jump
changed
in
what
there
they
because
say.
we are almost out of time, Narelle. But
Okay,
listen,
Peter. Okay.
no more emails accusing me of not giving the climate change skeptics a say. We're giving you a pretty
Should
good
I
say.
tell,
Thanks for
should I
your
tell a
company.
few more to write? Okay, thanks, Peter.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
All right,
Well done, Narelle. Good on her. I mean, the point is there's this phrase that is used around the place saying that climate change science is settled. Now, that's a nonsense phrase.